When I first considered trying to hunt with pack goats, I thought it was going to be a simple matter of finding a couple of goats, training them up, and putting some pack saddles on them and hitting the hills. After a disastrous first trip, I realized I was going to need to become a crazy goat guy who spent a silly amount of time, energy, and money keeping the goats fed, in shape, and entrained. Owning goats is an all-in, year-round deal if you want to hunt with them. Pack goats need daily love and attention. They are bottle fed to ensure a tight bond, and they have to have that bond to want to work their guts out for you and follow you anywhere. They have to live where you live so you can lay hands on them every day. As I get my goats loaded for their morning run in the hills above Boise, I'm reminded how different all their personalities are. This is Eli. He has really nice breeding, but he's kind of scared and always has to be handled with patience and love. It's just how he is. He eventually submits. The funny thing is, he's my pasture alpha, and yet the smallest goat. I guess he has small man's disease, but he's really sweet once you get your hands on him and he trusts you. Now this is Dewey. His name fits him well. He's kind of a goober who's always doing goofy stuff. He's always one of the most playful boys, and he's only 3, and I'm still packing him very lightly as pack goats can't truly carry much weight until they're around 4 years old. And this is Chester. Now Chester is just special. He's my string leader. He's gentle, wise, he has something extra about him. He does things I didn't know were possible with packs on. Conditioning is everything with a pack goat. Without it, they'll be very slow, need lots of breaks, and not be able to carry much weight. With conditioning, it will blow you away how tough they are. I do a 3-mile run with them every week, year-round. So you're probably wondering, what's the catch? Well, the catch is, you have to start with babies if you want a good string. So don't forget, that means you will have to wait for at least 4 years to put weight on them. All 4 of those years, you'll need to be training and teaching them how to be a mountain goat instead of a pasture goat. If you're going to the hills, they gotta go with you. Pack goats have to have exceptional breeding to carry weight, and getting them from an actual pack goat breeder is critical. I could fill up a truck with $100 goats right now from Craigslist, and I'd get a pile of wiener goats, and I'd be lucky to get one good packer out of the lot. The pack goat breeders have bred the mountain goat back into the dairy and meat breed, and that's what you need. A leggy, athletic, semi-wide goat with proper conformation and a goat that has been bred to love to work. Now after spring bear hunting, it's time for summer pack trips and amazing places with my wife and boys and family. Last year we logged over 350 trail miles with our string. Now you need to meet the final members of the crew. This is Raven. She's my breeder and my milker. She gives us about 1 gallon of milk a day at home and in the backcountry. She's cute and keeps the string together, and if anyone falls behind, she will give you the business. Now last but not least is Duke and Mooch. Both are very sweet and inseparable. Duke has a ton of heart and is a gentle alpha with a cool set of horns. And Mooch is a go-along, come-along follower who is always pulling up the rear. But every string needs that goat that's willing to follow. Oh, and I almost forgot, if your pasture is visible from your home like ours, they make for some great goat TV. With Big Wood love to play.
Oh my! Isn't it, Dad?
Now, after all that, they are ready to pack out elk. This is where they will be pushed the hardest with the most weight off trail and in the deadfall, which is an impossible task for a couch potato wiener goat. We packed in on this trip 5.5 miles. We had never been there before. Saw some rain in the forecast, but we had no idea what Ma Nature had in store for us.
This is a new problem.
We were hopeful for screaming bulls. I packed in a solar-powered electric fence to allow me to leave the goats in camp. Sounded good. Goats kept in, predators kept out. But day 3, when a bear chased my boys through the fence and over a mile from camp, I realized how naive I was. So they hunted with us every day as a part of the team. They are loud and kind of a pain in the butt to hunt with, but they absolutely cannot be left in camp. As a goat packer, you have to hunt with your goats. My partners on this hunt were my good buddies Ivan Enixon and Willie Beebe. Day one found us packing in, with the boys carrying 250 pounds of comfort and good eats. At about the 4-mile point, we heard a bull scream, so we juked off the trail, tied up the goats, and called him into 30. With no shot opportunity, we were off again to go set camp. We got a chance to work a few good bulls that evening and the next day. But on day 2, what started off as a drizzle turned into a downpour, and that downpour didn't turn off for 2 solid days. It was miserable for us and the goats, and without those tarps we packed in, we would have had to go home. We got crushed. So we just dug in, ate like kings, had some giggles, and waited for better weather.
Really? Yeah, the elk steaks were still frozen too.
Something to know about the goats is that they hate water. It's their kryptonite. So those poor guys were in goat hell. Finally, the weather cleared and we were able to hunt. Little did we know Ma Nature wasn't done with us yet, and was going to kick us in the gut again soon. Now Chester is my strongest goat, and he can carry 65 to 70 pounds. Now that means I can put 32 and a half pounds per side. So to pack out a bull with goats, you're boning everything in the field and cutting it down into a lot of separate small pieces. And we were busy harvesting elk, and a bull kept bugling while we were working. You can hear him in the background. He kept getting closer and closer. But we were busy working on Willie's bull. Eventually, he ended up 100 yards below us in a wallow, and we could hear him splashing around. So we tied the goats up, I grabbed my bow and snuck into 40. But with a wind swirl and a nose full of human scent, the bull was out of there, and we were back to the business of packing out meat. So remember how I said Ma Nature wasn't done with us yet? Well, she wasn't. She kicked us in the teeth for one more solid day. So the next morning, we were hunting in the snow. After working in on a new area, we heard a bull from distance. We moved in and ended up having him surprise us when he screamed at about 70 yards away, and he was coming in hard. So we didn't have time to do anything but knock an arrow, send the caller back, and the goats were all standing right around behind me. In fact, if you listen closely, you'll hear them chewing and walking around on deadfall right behind us.
I'm like, okay, did he go chuckle? Is that a different bull? Did he miss? I'm like, what? That is freaking great.
So now the goats had their work cut out for them. We had 3 trips out over 3 days while we tried to kill Ivan's bull. Each trip was 11 miles round trip, and the boys hauled over 700 pounds out of the backcountry and over 30 miles between elk and camp by the time it was all done. When we got back with everything, all we could do was think about going back in there again next year with even a stronger crew and more knowledge. Man, I can't wait for September.